Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday to everybody who is joining us live, and happy whatever day of the week it is, whatever time of the day it is, to those of you who are joining us on our YouTube channel. This is kind of a different setup. So, what happens when your 15-month-old son just decides to change his nap schedule completely? You are sharing a very small office space / home with said 15-month-old, including sharing a studio and nursery. Well, you just scramble and you go out to the dining room table and you set up a little studio there. So thank you for joining me, even though everything is looks a little different than usual. And thank you for joining me for this episode of our Sales Sherpa Tools for Financial Services series. If you are joining us live, be sure to go ahead and down in the comments, put down where you're coming at us from. If you put your city, state, zip code, part of the country, part of the world that you're in, always love to know where our live participants are joining us from. And with that, let's dive in. So today, I want to talk about a lethal branding mistake that most professionals make, unfortunately, and certainly most financial service professionals make. And it's a very simple thing, but it's just so pervasive, it's painful. When you are positioning yourself as a go-to resource, as a trusted advisor, as a sales Sherpa for your prospects, for your clients, for your network, for your referral partners, it's very common that you're going to have to position yourself before they ever need you, right? So you're building a relationship, you're building trust, you're building credibility over time. We are not in a, hey, somebody just needs some financial planning, they're going to make a call. They need to get some insurance, they're just going to make a call, or they're even less likely they're just going to sit around and pick up your phone call and go, gosh, I'm glad you rang me. I would totally need to do some investing. Not at all. We have to position ourselves. And so the brand that we share is super important. But here's the mistake that most financial service professionals make. When they do craft that message, that brand that they have, they do it from their perspective, not their prospects, their clients, their networks perspective. Basically, they think about it from their viewpoint, not their audience's viewpoint. And because of that, the messages that they create and that they share fall flat. They are not engaging, and they really struggle because the prospects and clients over time aren't going, oh gosh, who I should really call about this? Susan, because I totally get what Susan does and how she helps, and this is the perfect place. I know Jim really works with small businesses around helping to get group insurance. I should totally reach out to him. When you have a message that is you-centric, there's nothing for them to grab onto. And in financial services, there's 3 ways that I've seen this play out. One is that you use language that's important to you, not to them. So, for example, nobody thinks about themselves as a high net worth individual. Nobody calls themselves affluent, right? That's not language they use. So if you go, well, I work with affluent individuals, or I work with high net individuals, or I've seen this a lot, I work with pre-retirees. Do you know who calls himself a pre-retiree? Nobody, right? They don't think they think themselves, well, I'm not retired yet. These are just a couple quick examples, but again, they're from your business viewpoint, not from theirs. So we always have to think, what is the language that the prospects and clients that we want to serve, what is the language that they are using? And if you don't know this, find out. Talk to your existing clients, have a conversation with them. Just say, ask them some questions about kind of the way they frame their perspective on the world or the challenges that they have. If you want to help your clients minimize their tax risk or tax exposure, very few people think about tax exposure in terms of tax exposure. It might be minimizing unnecessary taxes, or again, use the language that they use. So that's number one. Number two is stay away from commodity language. So this is a challenge that a lot of financial professionals have, because in many ways, financial services are a bit of a commodity. And I know some of you just got all upset about hearing that, because you're like, no, our company's totally different, and our services are unique, or our products are unique. Okay, maybe if I know your industry in and out, if I know all of the nuances, I know all the cracks and crevices. But for most of us, you are unique like a snowflake. A snowflake is unique, really, really close. From a little farther away, they all look the same. So if you're using language like I'm a trusted advisor, guess what? All of your competitors are saying the same things. We're going to help you secure your financial future. All of your competitors are saying the same things. If that is all you have to rest on, that's not enough, and that's not distinctive. I can't remember you as opposed to any of your competitors. So think about it. Are there any places where you can take that, again, commodity language, and make it a little more unique, a little more personalized? Yes, there might be some aspects of the broader commodity services that you provide, but what do you bring? What is the special sauce that makes you and your organization great and helpful to your prospects and clients? The third thing that people do when they're thinking about their messaging is they get overly complex, and they get overly dependent on jargon. So I've definitely seen this from peers. Like when I wrote Networking in the 21st Century, talked about elevator pitches. I was looking around a lot at other elevator pitches and way people introduce themselves in networking. And this happens a lot, I found, with larger financial service firms. So if you're in a big company, this could definitely have been something you're exposed to, where there's this mumbo jumbo. We help individuals and organizations find the most effective ways to leverage risk and manage their portfolios to create livable revenue now and a safety net for the future. Again, I'm just ripping off the top of my head, but some of that language, you're probably like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. There's these overly complex marketing focus. Again, this goes back to this idea that it's about what you want to say, not what they need to hear. But these marketing-based taglines and overly complex and jargon-filled statements that just do not resonate, because you know why? People don't talk like that. So that's not the language they use in their everyday, day-to-day lives. So when you look at the message that you're sharing, the first thing you have to do is make sure you're not sharing the wrong message. So again, make sure that you're not speaking in your language versus theirs. Make sure that you're not being overly boring and commodified, and make sure that you're not using anything that's overly jargon-filled or overly complex. Speak clearly, speak concisely, and speak to the services that you provide, because being a good sales Sherpa, a big part of that is establishing your credibility before the buyer ever takes their journey, but establishing that credibility that, hey, I've been up the mountain. I know the path. I know what we should focus on. I know the challenges that we need to avoid, the pitfalls that could be there, and obviously the opportunities that we can take advantage of. And to do that, you have to be able to create that connection. So that was a very, very fast personal branding workshop. And the challenge I have to you is to look at how you share what you do with others. And ask yourself, if I didn't know anything about me, if I didn't know anything about the financial services space, would I still be able to understand what I'm saying? Would I be able to pick up what I'm putting down? And if the answer is no, start to look at that. And if you have any questions about how to do that, of course, feel free to reach out to me. This is actually a big part of our social media, LinkedIn, social selling, training and coaching. But also, if you just have any quick questions, feel free to just reach out. Ping me on LinkedIn here. Say, hey, D, I got a question. and you can take a look at this. Be happy to do that. And as I mentioned up top, if you haven't seen all of our videos, we have a full channel of our content. It's on our YouTube channel. I've thrown the link down below, youtube.com/user/David J.P. Fisher, the whole name spelled out. Can't put D Fish everywhere, but definitely check that out. And with that, thank you so much. Sorry that we started a few minutes late here. We had to scramble a little bit. But again, if you missed it, all of our content is going to be on the YouTube channel. And tomorrow, knock on wood, and I'm actually going to be in another studio space. So I think it'll happen at noon. Really excited, talking about some of the ways that Sales Sherpa can use video conversations. So Zoom calls, Google Hangouts, BlueJeans, whatever platform you're using. But a couple of key ways that you can take your video call game to the next level. And we'll talk about some of the messages you're sharing that you don't even know, how they could be hurting you, and how you can use them to help you instead. So thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. I wish you a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.